Stop saying you don't have time. Your life will be the result of your priorities. You make the time. Do you think it's a matter of maturity, or what does it take for people to realize this?
So I don't know if it's a level of maturity, because everybody knows what to do. Only the people that want to do it, right? Everybody knows that if you want to become better, you got to do X, Y, Z. We're talking about systems, right? You want to become a better, Call of Duty player. What do you got to do? You got to put in the hours, right? Like, it's a system. You know what to do, right? And so you basically have to think about what your priorities are, because everybody's got the same 24 hours in a day. The richest man in the world, the poorest man in the world, the best basketball player in the world, and the worst basketball player in the world. Everybody's got 24, right? And it's what you do with your 24. Now, you asked me, is it about being mature, right? I think it's really got to be wanting what you want, right? And you really have to say, okay, I'm going to make the time. Some people say find the time, right? But you have to say, okay, for 30 minutes a day, I'm going to watch film. Now listen, and people are like, watching film, I don't have any film. I'm not talking about film about you. Like, you don't need to watch you, right? You need to watch people that are better than you and watch that game film. And if you just search YouTube, whatever your sport is, and then game film, and they'll have some of the best. This is the other thing. I wish I had YouTube when I was playing sports. You could literally get the best breakdowns and analysis of why this is happening in the game and why this creates that and stuff like that. And skill in sports comes in one of two ways. You're just more talented and you can do whatever you want, right? And that usually comes doing it at some level, because everybody gets as good as they are, right? And the other thing is you can get your results by making the other team do certain things. If you're on, like basketball, if you know that doing this, like if you know how to drive when the guy's on his off foot, you're going to pick up so much information on why you do what you do, not how to do it, but why you do it. Right. And so to circle back around, if you looked at your day and you were honest, and this is the first thing when I work with athletes that I tell them to do, I say, don't do anything different for 2 weeks. I said, but write down what you do every day and just write it down. Like and it not like brush my teeth 3 minutes. It's like, got up 7 a.m., got ready for school, 7:30 ate breakfast or whatever. Right. And then you'll be able to see that you have much more time than you think you have. You have much more time than you think you have, right? 24 hours a day, 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of work or school, leaves 8 hours. Okay. Take 2 of those hours for travel, whatever. That's 6 hours. Don't tell me you don't have the time. You got 6 hours a day, right? Well, I got to do homework okay, fine, whatever, right? But when you break it down, you have to want it bad enough to say, I would rather watch game film than watch, I don't know, whatever, something else, right? Whatever the streamers or whatever, those dudes, right? You listen to dude, how many athletes are listening to streamers for hours a day, right? See, I'm old. That's why I was trying to think of the word. Like, what are those guys called? Not YouTube, but the other dudes like Twitch and whatever, all that stuff, right? Come on, man. Cut that out. You cut that out. The other guy's not going to cut it out. You're going to beat him. Take their position, take their spot, take their scholarship, take their, whatever, man. It's all about your dedication and what you really want. 100%.
I think that's what it is. I mean, action just reflects priorities. If you really want to get to know someone, you have to notice how they spend their money and their time, in my opinion, because these are two important, very limited resources that reflect attention and values, if you really think about it. So what do I mean by that, especially in college, right? You could spend some sort of dollars on a night out, or you could save up that exact same money and buy some recovery tool that you're missing, that you quote unquote can't afford, but you can afford the drinks when you're going out. So it's like, which one do you want more type of thing, you know? And I think about that often. It's like that reflects your values and your priorities. Same thing with time. It's the exact same thing. With time, it's attention. With money, it tends to be values, but it's just what you care about more, and that's how it's reflected. So if you have that extra time, what do you want more? Do you want to be entertained, or do you want to be focusing on the film? Do you want to be stretching? Like it's really dumb little things like stretching, and you don't think about it, but you could stretch and watch film at the same time. Like it's not that complicated, you know, like that's very, very doable. You could even, here's a crazier thing. You could stretch and watch the streamers at the same time, but like it's never been easier. But that's the thing. I think the digital age, it's a paradox, because it's never been easier to succeed, but it's also never been easier to fail because of those same distractions. And
that's a crazy quote. That's a crazy quote right there. Because it's 100%. It's 100%. It's just one of the things that I hated the most of watching my son's friends grow up. I saw wasted talent. I saw wasted potential. Right? There's two dudes that I know, if they would have kept their heads on straight, and it wasn't like they got off track, but there was no direction. Right? And they were so good, they were just able to float around to these teams and play and do this, right? But there was and some of that I put on the coach, some of that I put on the athlete, some of that I put on the parents, right? But the athlete can only he's really in charge. He's really in charge, right? But the athlete can only do what he knows. He can't do beyond what he knows, right? Which is what takes it to the level of the coaches, right? And the parents. And if you as a parent don't know, and you see your kid putting time in, but they're plateauing, you're going to have to figure out where that is. Now, the great thing is like you said, they could stretch and watch it on YouTube, you know, and it's the little things. I know you're a big fan of, you know, Atomic Habits and stuff, right? And that's the 1%, you know, what was it? The bicycle team from England or whatever? The dumb little things, 1%, right? Changing the way changing the pillows that they used. So they got a better night's sleep, and it gave them a 1% edge. And it's greatness is made from thousands of little things.